Hello everyone and welcome back to another numismatic history video. In today's video we're going to be looking over everything that I've found throughout 2025, so let's get into it. Alright everyone, so here I have some of the things that we found laid out here. This video will kind of be broken up into a couple of segments because I can't fit everything on the screen at one time, but we'll kind of jump into everything and I'll go over everything and I'll put a little price thing on the top of the screen to kind of show you the value of everything that we've got this year. I did want to say too, before we kind of jump into everything, I definitely don't coin roll hunt as much as a lot of people do, so don't expect anything too crazy, but we did find some really cool things throughout this year too, so I just wanted to make a video to kind of highlight everything real quick. So let's kind of jump into everything, and I'll start in this top left corner here. So what I've got here in this top left corner, I've got a 2024 Philly, and then we've got lots of other nickels here. So these are all 2024 Denvers, and we found 15 of those. And then these are all 2025 Denvers. Now, I'm not sure if these are as valuable. I know the 2024s kind of went through a crazy phase for a while, but I think that simmered down a little bit. But I'll kind of put up some values for you guys. But the 2025s, we also found 15 of them. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that the 2024 Denvers and the 2025 Denvers, we found 15 of each of them. Now for 2025 Phillies, we didn't find a single one when it came to the nickels, so I just thought that was kind of interesting as well. Although I don't typically get the coins for the year till really late in the year. Most of these 2025s I found in the last like 2 months of the year. The next thing that we found is we found some silver here, and I did want to say as well, for these, this isn't all the silver that we found. We found some other silver, but they're in our books, so I'll show you the books later on in the video as well, and we can kind of show you what we've got there. But for the silver that we have that is extra that didn't fit in our books, we have a 90% silver dime here, 1964 Philly. So that's beautiful. We love finding our silver. Silver just keeps going up and up and up. I think today it was 90 something per ounce, which is crazy, considering that like beginning of last year it was like 30, and it just keeps going up. It's crazy. And then we have here, this is a silver war nickel, a 1944 Philadelphia silver war nickel. So this is 35% silver, whereas the dime is 90% silver. So a little different, although it is bigger as well. We also found some proof coins this year, so we found this beautiful, I mean it's a little chewed up, but it's beautiful because it's a proof. But it is a Susan B, a 1980 San Francisco proof there. It's a lot easier to tell on the back that it's a proof than on the front. The front's more chewed up. But this was actually an ender, I think, in one of my daily corn roll hunt shorts. If you haven't seen that series yet, I've been doing, I think I just recorded day 131 or something like that today. So we've been doing it for a while. So some of these things are from those, and then some of them are from my long form stuff, and some of it might be from stuff that I didn't record as well, but most of the stuff I record. The other proof that we found here, I think this is a 72 San Francisco dime. This one is much nicer. Beautiful, beautiful San Francisco proof dime. And this is kind of fun too, because I had never found a proof Susan B or a proof dime before this year, so that's pretty cool for me. The next thing we have here, these are our West Points for the year. So we found 3 West Points. I think that most of them we found pretty early on in the year, actually. So we have one here. They're all 3 2020s. So this one is the Marsh Billings Rockefeller Vermont one. So there you have that, and you can see that V75 privy there. And then we have 2 of these Weir Farm ones, as you can see here, both the West Point mint. So all of the West Point quarters have a mintage of 2 million per design. So these are 2 of the 2 million of this design, and this is 1 of 2 million. So that's pretty cool. They're just low mintage, and so that kind of increases their value some. Next, we'll kind of move on to this middle column here. So you can see all of these are golden dollars, and we'll all kind of jump into it. These are all not intended for circulation golden dollars, or NIFCs as we call it in the coin world. So that just means that they made them at the mint, but they didn't release them into circulation. So they didn't send them out to the banks for people to spend them. They sold them to collectors and things like that. And then at some point, they ended up being circulated, and I found them in a roll. So I thought I'd go over what we have here. So we have this JFK coin. Let me see if I can see. I have them all written down here. All right, so it's a 2015 Philly. I wanted to get that so I can show the mintages on the screen. But 2015 Philly JFK golden dollar. We have this one here. We've got Nixon. And this is, let me see what mintage it is. It's a Philly. For these, the mintages are all on the edge, which makes them hard to see. So I'm trying, that's why I wrote them all down, just so that I have a reference there. So I'm not struggling on camera. The next one is this one, which I think is Chester Arthur. Yes, Chester Arthur, and it's a 2012 Philly. So that's pretty cool. Then we have Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, and it is a 2013 Philly. So that's pretty cool. And I did think it was interesting that all of these 4 presidential dollars that we found that are NIFCs, they're all from the Philadelphia Mint. So that just, I think it's just a coincidence, but it's kind of interesting. Then we have 2 Sacagawea dollars that we found that are not intended for circulation as well. We have here a 2002 Philly and a 2008 Denver. So that's pretty cool. I'll flip those over so you can see those reverses. But these are also not intended for circulation. And then the last thing for this golden dollar column, we have one of our Native American dollars, and this is actually a 2024 Denver one, which is pretty cool, so a very recent one. And it is the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. So it's a pretty cool one there. And again, you can see the dates not on the front here. It's on the edges, just like those presidential dollars. But beautiful, beautiful coin. I love finding our not intended for circulation coins. Just think they've got a really cool story, and I wish I could see the journey that they go on to end up in a coin roll. Next, in the top right corner, we have our Canadian finds for the year. This year we found significantly less Canadians than last year, although I do think I searched less pennies this year than last year. But we only found 2 Canadian nickels. I'll start with those. We have here a 1994 and a 1999 Canadian nickel. They both have the same queen's heads there, so that's kind of fun. And then for our pennies, we only found 5 Canadian cents. And then I'll just kind of go over the years real quick that we have. So we have a 1977 one here, a 1981, a 1984, 1987, and then a 1998 there. So all different years, but really just very few. Foreigns in general, I didn't find too many of this year. And I guess that can bring us into our second part here. So we'll move on to this because these are our foreigns and tokens and things like that. This one, I haven't been able to figure out what it was. This I actually didn't find cornrow hunting, but I found it on a walk. And you can see it has 50 on there and some sort of outline of a country, but it's just so chewed up, it's really hard to tell. I probably will post this on the Numista forums because I haven't yet. But you can see it says 1998, and it's a 50 cent, so I'm assuming that this is a coin and not a token, but just not one that I'm familiar with. So if you know, let me know down in the comments because it's kind of interesting. Then we have this Philippines coin, so a 25 centimo coin from 2014, and these I have found before. I'm not sure if I found any last year or not, but I do have some of these in my collection. But they're fun coins to find. I really, really like finding foreign coins. One of my favorite things to find, cornrow hunting. Then we have this Panamanian Balboa here, 2008. So you can see that. The Cinco Centésimos, so pretty cool. And then the last thing that we have here is we have a token. This is a Haraz gaming token, which I believe we did find cornrow hunting. And you can see it's from a casino. So that's pretty cool. It's a 25 cent token. So that's kind of interesting. Fun little thing to find. I've never seen this token before finding it, so pretty cool. Next, we have our 2025 pennies here. So we only found 4. These have been going, well, I'm not sure if recently they have, but for a while they were going for a premium and people were getting insane amounts of money for a roll or for a box or even just the individual coins. But we found 1 Philly and 3 Denvers of those, so that's pretty cool. And then the last thing that I have on screen right now is these dimes here. So we have our 2024s and our 2025s. We found 4 2024 Phillies and 11 2024 Denvers. And then for our 2025s, we found 1 Philly and 3 Denvers. So that's pretty cool. I'm not really sure if these have any sort of premium. I haven't really done any research, but I've just decided to kind of set them aside throughout the year. And then if I do research and they don't seem to be super valuable or anything, I'll probably just toss them back. But I just wanted to hold them aside and see how many I found throughout the year for those. Anyways, guys, let me kind of get the next set of things set up, and then I'll bring you back in just a minute. Alright, so for this second portion, I wanted to go over things that I found in giveaways. So I know this isn't from coin roll hunting, but I'm including these things from giveaways, and then I'm also including things that I was gifted. I'm not going to include anything that I bought in 2025, which I didn't buy very much, but I'm not going to include anything that I purchased. These are all just things that I got for face value or was given. So the giveaway is included in that. I won 2 different giveaways. Really, one of them was in 2024, but I didn't receive it till 2025, so I'm going to include it here. So I've won. Hunting Southwest Ohio does a big giveaway at the end of each year for the new year. And I won part of that, and I won a silver snowman, so this is part of that. And then, so this is a 1966 silver $50 there, so pretty cool. And then it also came with a silver quarter and a silver dime as well. I'm not going to put up the prices for those yet, or add it to the number, because they're in our books, so they became book fillers, so that's why they're not out here, because we'll go over them when we do our books. But then the other part that we found, or that we got in a giveaway, was all of this, which was from a original ATOG's Coins giveaway. So another YouTube channel. So I thought I'd share what we found again. So we got this 1995 US Mint set. I'm not going to get that out right now because you can go watch the video for it if you'd like to see it. We also found this, or we got this, we didn't find it. We got this George Washington $50 here, the 200th anniversary of his birthday. So that's super cool. I can't remember if this is 90% or 99% silver, but I'll put up the value there. We also got this copper round here, which I still don't know a whole ton about, but it's a beautiful, beautiful round. 1 AVDP ounce. We also got this 2007 DDR. So if we stuck this under the scope, there's a DDR on there, which is just a form of doubling. I have a bunch of errors that I found throughout the year as well that I'll show you guys later on. And then the last thing is we have this beautiful Ike dollar here with just some nice yellow toning. It's a bicentennial one, Denver. So that's pretty cool. And let me get the next set up for you. The next thing that I have here, I like to set aside all of the 2009 pennies that I found. And I found very, very few 2009 pennies. If you go and check out my 2024, my video where I go over everything I found in 2024, I had a big pile of 2009s that I had here. This is all that I found in 2025. Very few for some reason, because they're not even really that valuable, just something I like to hold on to. One weird thing is we didn't find any of the presidency design. So there's a 4th design here, and we didn't find any of them this year, which I thought was really strange. We also have here, I'll kind of go over what we found. So we found 4 of the 2009 Philly Birth and Childhood. So that's these here. I don't know why I did these flipped around like that, but these are the Phillies. There's 4 of them, and then 3 Denvers. Then we have, for the formative years, we have 6 2009 Phillies and 4 Denvers. And then for the 2009 Professional Life, which is this last design here, we have 2 Phillies and 1 Denver. So just kind of strange. Like I said, I did go through less pennies this year, but I didn't go through that many less. So just was kind of surprising to me. Let me know how your year went with these and what you noticed as well. I'd love to hear. All right, and then the next thing that I wanted to show you is all of these wheat cents here. So these are definitely not all of the wheat cents that we found, because so many of them were book fillers this year because we got so many new books. But I wanted to share these with you because these are just all the ones that we found that aren't book fillers. So the oldest one that we have that we found that isn't a book filler, I'm not going to go through all of these individually, but the oldest one that we have that's not a book filler is on 1942, and then the most recent one is a 1958 Denver, which is the 58 is the last year of the wheat cent. I just thought that was kind of interesting. And then you can see these are all in chronological order, so you can see a little bit of that distribution of some of our more common years there. So that's kind of cool. And we found 19 of these total, so that's pretty cool. The next thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to show you our books and kind of all their progress. So I'll go through from pennies up to dollars. I will say for these, not all of them are going to be Coin Hunt finds. A lot of these books came from, some of them I bought, and the ones that I bought were empty when I bought them. And then the other ones were given to me and were like, this year I was gifted a coin collection, and a lot of it was books that were partially filled. So a lot of these weren't necessarily found corner hunting, although a ton of them were, especially our wheat cents and things like that. But not all of them were, so I did want to say that. Although I will be including all of the coins in here in the value for this year because it's all stuff that I acquired this year, so it's all new stuff for me. So I think it counts towards the value. So let's kind of go through. This will take a little bit because I have a lot of books, especially this is my stack for the pennies. Let me show you how many books we have here. These are just pennies here. So I'll kind of go through for you guys. So the first book that we have is one of our 3 Lincoln Cents starting in 1975 books. So I wanted to show you here what we have. And I think, yeah, I was going to say, this one I think we filled all the way. So it's completely full, as you can see here. Now some of these are going to be copper and some of them are going to be zinc. The copper ones end here with these 1982s. Some of the 1982s are copper and some are zinc because it was a transitional year. But this goes up to 2013 and it's completely full. For our second one here, let's see, I don't remember for these what we have. So this one is missing a couple spots, but it might just be, yeah, it's just those 2 1982s. So we're missing a 1982 copper small date. So for 1982, they also have small and large date. So that's why there's so many 1982s in this book, because there's so many different varieties for them. But there's the 1982 Philly copper small date and the 1982 zinc small date that we're looking for as well for this book. But again, this book is pretty much full other than that, so that's pretty cool. And then for our last one starting in 1975, I'm pretty sure this one has some empty spots as well. But let's open it up here. So you can see we're missing a 1982 small date here. And then we're also missing a 1999, which is weird because 1999 is a more recent date, but I just haven't been able to find one since getting this book. And I don't know why, but one of these days we'll find one. I think that'll be easier than a lot of things that we look for. But I just thought I'd show you the progress on that as well. This next book we have is a 1959 to 98. So the year after the wheat cent. So 1959 is the first year of the Lincoln Memorial Cent, up to 1998. So this does span some of the same time as those starting in 74 books, or I think it's starting in 75 actually. But let me show you what we have here. This book we do have a lot more holes because there's more old coins here. You can see this last page is fully filled, which is all stuff that would have been found in the 1970s books as well. But we're missing here a 1962 Philly, 1964, 1968S, 1969S, 70S, 71, 72S, 74S, and then 2 of the 1982s, that small date for the copper and zinc as well, that we're missing in some of those other books. So you can see a lot of these that we're missing are just some of the more low mintage ones, or the San Francisco Mint ones are harder for me to find. Next, we have our Lincoln Cents starting in 1941. I actually have 4 of these books now, but this is the only book that you'll see in this video that I had last year. But I just wanted to show you the progress. I don't actually remember if we added anything this year, so we won't actually be updating any values here, but I just wanted to show you our progress of what we have. This is my great-grandpa's penny book here that was passed down to my grandpa and then passed down to me, so it's pretty cool. And as you can see, we've got the whole first page filled here, almost all the second page, and then the whole last page is also full as well. But the two coins that just keep eluding me, they're 2 wheat cents, this 1953 and 1954 Philly, and I just can't find them. There are two coins that are probably on the top of my bucket list right now to find. So one of these days we'll find them and I'll be able to finish off this book finally. But yeah, I just thought I would share the progress with you because I thought it was pretty cool. For our next 1941 to 74 here, now these books are going to be a lot more sparse because they have a lot of wheat cents in them. For most of these wheat cents they're ones that I found, but like I said, some of them were already in here when the book was given to me. But you can see here, we have a lot of spots missing, and as they get older, you can see there's more missing spots here. But I just thought I'd show you the progress for that. And then here's our third one here. So again, pretty similar story, missing the steel cents and things like that. I actually haven't ever found a steel cent in circulation before. I have some in books and things like that, but I've never found them coin hunting. So that would be a super fun find. And then here's this final 1941 to 74. This one is the most filled out of those three. And as you can see, it's got some steel cents. These two steel cents were in here before. And I think this book, most of them that were in here were not ones that I found. But they're still pretty cool. You can see here we got it mostly filled other than some of these older wheat cents. So then we have our three 1909 to 1940 books. So this one has very little in it. You can see the old page here has none in it. We haven't found any for the old page. For the second oldest page, we have just one, this 1926 that we found. So that's a cool find. And then the last page here does have a couple, just 3 coins. But as you can see, this book is mostly empty. Almost all the wheat cents that I find are 40s or older, or younger, more recent. So those 30s to 1909 are really hard for me to find, but we did have the luck to find a few this year, so I thought that was pretty cool. For our second one here, let me show you this. This one is a similar story, very close to empty. You can see the first 2 pages have nothing, but this last page does have some here. So that's nice. And then the last one here has quite a bit actually, and it's got some real old ones here. So you can see there's like a 1909. Now this book, most of these that are the old ones again, were ones that were already in the book when I got it, because it was given to me. So I'll just be finishing off this book, but still just some real nice older wheat cents. You just hardly ever see these nowadays, so a really fun thing to add to my collection. Next, we have a really exciting find, possibly one of my favorite finds of the year, or definitely one of my favorites. I don't know if it's the favorite or not, but we got this new Indian head cents book, and with it, we found an Indian head cent. So it was in just one of our daily coin roll hunts. I opened up a penny roll, and there was an Indian head cent in there, so super cool. Let me show you that to you guys. It's the first time I found an Indian head cent, so I'm just super excited. And we found here this 1898 Philly Indian head cent there. So super, super cool. Just crazy to find something of this age. This coin here is 128 years old, so just crazy. And then lastly, we have 4 of these just cents books. I'm not really sure what I want to do with these yet, but let me know down in the comments if you have any ideas or anything. I've got 4 of them. These 3 are the same. This one is a little bit different, but they're all basically, you can get these for any denomination of coin. It's just empty. It doesn't have specific years or anything like that. But you can put whatever you want in there. But let me know down in the comments if you got any ideas. I'd love to hear them. All right, and now we'll move on to the nickels. So we're going to start with this starting in 1962 book. I've got 2 of these starting in 1962 books. And you can see here, we're almost finished. We're only missing this 1969S, which I just can't find. I found one for the other book, but just not for this one. So we'll keep our eyes out throughout 2026 for that to finish off this book. Let me show you that last page there as well. You can see it's filled up there. And then let me show you that second one. We have this one here, which I think I filled all the way. Let me see. Yep, completely full. Filled a whole new 1962 book. Now, I did have one of these from last year that I filled up as well. So this is my second full one and almost third one with that other one. Then we have our 1938 to 61 books. I've got 3 of these. 2 of them are this design and one of them is a Whitman one. But let's get this open so you can see. This is where we're going to get it to be a lot less. I'm not sure why I didn't pick out one to be the Monticello reverse there, because I could easily do that with any of these older coins, but I didn't do that. As you can see here, we do have some silver ones. Some of these we found, some of them were given to us. We got some silver. We are missing some of the silver years still, but a lot of these older nickels are just harder to find, especially the silver ones, because people pull them out for their value. But we're doing decently well in this book for the age of the coins here. For our second one, it's going to be a pretty similar story. We have a lot less in this book than we had in the other book. But I just wanted to show you guys what we have there. So we have just 2 silvers in this book, and then a bunch of other ones that are just the older ones. And then here's that last 1938, that Whitman one as well. As you can see, we got a couple silvers. Most of the silvers, actually, more silver than I thought in here. And then we're just missing a lot of the older dates. So we'll find those, and I believe we'll fill this up eventually. Maybe not this year, but the next couple of years we can fill these books up. They're not too hard for the nickels. And then the last book for the nickels we have is our Buffalo Nickels book. I can't remember which of these or how many of these we found this year. I know we found at least one. I did pop all the other ones that I found in the past in here as well. So you can see there's only 5. I think I found either this 1935 Denver or this 1936. I think it was one of these. And I may have found another one this year, but I can't remember. So I just thought I'd show you the progress on our book. We got 5 buffaloes in here. Alright, so let's move on to the dimes. So for the dime books, we have our first one here, this Roosevelt dimes from 1965 to 2004. And this one I think we filled up all the way. I got this later into the year, but we filled it up really fast because they're not hard to find. The only one we don't have is this 1996 W, which was, I think it was an NIFC. Maybe it wasn't, I'm not sure. But there's only 1,457,000 of them, so they're just really, really, really low mintage. And as you can see, oh, I guess it does say here, issued only in mint sets. So if I do come across one, I will pop out this little cardboard thing and stick it in there, but the likelihood of that is not super high. Maybe one day. Our next dime book is this Rosie dime book starting in 1946 here, and we do have some silver years in here, like this 1952. This 1952 I know came from the Silver Snowman from Hunting, Southwest Ohio. And then you can see here are 2 other silvers, these 2 1964s, the 64 Philly and Denver. And then we have here, this is the other page, completely full of all of the clad coins for this book. So we're just mainly missing, or we are just missing a lot of the silver years, which are going to be harder to find. Next we have our Mercury dime books. Now for these, we didn't find any Mercury dimes this year, but we did get the new book, so I just thought I would show you. This book I did pop in the one Mercury dime that we found last year, which is this 1942 here. So Mercury dimes are going to be even more hard to find, just like the Indian head cents and things like that. So I don't anticipating filling up one of these anytime soon with just corner hunting finds, but we also have this one here. I just thought I would show you guys. And then the last dime book that we have is this, again, just dimes. If you have any thoughts on what I should do with this, let me know down in the comments. Next, we'll move on to our quarters here. So our first book is this Washington Quarters 1965 to 87. And this book we filled all the way, so that's pretty cool. A lot of these quarter books we filled all the way, or almost all the way. So we're doing well on that. This next one is starting in 1960, so it does have some silver in here. The 1962 Denver and 63 Denver. I believe the 62 Denver was from the Hunting Southwest Ohio giveaway, but I can't quite remember. Oh, and we have this 64 Denver as well. It's also silver. But I'll open the rest of this up. The rest of these are all just going to be clad coins here. Just these first couple are going to be silver. But we have, as you can see, we filled out the rest of the book in the clad one, so we're just looking for those silver ones for this book. The next book that we have is this Washington Quarters book, which we actually haven't found any coins for yet. It starts in 1946 and is just silver years. I'm focusing on putting the silver years in for that 1960 book, but if we find an older silver year, I definitely put it in here. I also got 3 new 50 states quarter books. One of them has just coins from Philadelphia, one of them has just coins from the Denver Mint, and then one of them has all coins from both the Philly and Denver Mint. This one I believe is the Denver one, but they're all different designs here, as you can see, but we filled this one out all the way with those 1999 to 2008 quarters there, state quarters. This is our Philly one here. It's a lot harder to fit on camera, but I'll try to fit it as much as I can. But this is the Philly one, just like I said. We filled this out all the way as well, so I'll try to get that all in there so you can see the whole map. But we've filled this book out all the way with all of our quarters there, so pretty cool. And then for our last one, we are just missing one coin, although it is not one that's actually intended to be in this book, but I just thought I would show you real quick. This one has both the Philly and Denver's in it. So you can see for these first 2 pages, completely full. And then let me show you those second 2 pages here. We've got the 2005 to 2007 all filled up. And then this last page just has the 2008s. But then I decided to include, since there's extra space here, I included the 2009 one. I can't remember the name of the series. I think it's like U.S. territories and something like that. I don't remember if that's the exact name of it. But we're just missing one from the U.S. territories, the 2009 ones, and that is this American Samoa Denver here. And then again, just like those pennies and dimes, we have this quarter book here. You can put anything in it. It doesn't have anything in it, but let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are and if you have any ideas for these. Now we'll move on to our half dollars. So we have here a Kennedy half dollar book. This is my only Kennedy half dollar book, and it's starting in 1964, so there will be some silvers in here. As you can see, we got 1964, 67, 68. When it comes to our half dollars, 1964 is, for Kennedy half dollars, is the only silver year that is 90%, and then the others are all 40% from 1965 to 70. They're all 40% silver. Now, there are older, all half dollars older than 1964 are also 90%, but they're just not Kennedy half dollars. They're Benjis or things like that. So we have those 3 silver half dollars there, and then for the rest of this book, I think we filled it most of the way. So you can see we're missing a 1979 Denver there, and then we're missing a couple on this page: 81 Denver, 82 Philly, and 84 Philly. But we're doing pretty good for our half dollars. And then I did want to show you guys, I do have these 2 Benji half dollar books. I didn't find any, and I don't have any to put in that have been finds, so I just thought I'd show you them. They're both empty, but I thought I'd show you them anyway. And then finally, we're at the end of our books here, and the last thing that we have is our dollar books. I don't actually have any small dollar books. They're all large dollars, so the Ike dollars or the Peace or Morgan dollars. But I'll show you what we have. None of these I found. They were all just in these books before, but I count them because I could find them if a teller gave them to me, or if I found them in a Coinstar or something. I wouldn't find it in a typical dollar roll, of course. But let me show you our progress here. So you can see we just have a couple coins in here, just those first 3. And then this book was printed earlier on, so they haven't filled in the dates. But there's only a couple of dates for the Ike dollars as well. But I just thought I'd show you that one. And then we have one more dollar book here. This is just a generic dollar book, but it does have some. One just fell out there. But you can see we've got a couple in here. Try to get that pushed down a little bit. but it's kind of set up into 3 different sections, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know why it says US for one of the sections, because of course the ag dollar is going to be US, but we have United States, and then we have silver, and then we have dollars. Again, dollars is kind of a weird title too. I don't know. All of these are kind of weird, but the silver is nice to have because there are some silver ag dollars, although I don't have any. And then the last book we have is this Peace Dollar book. This, again, very generous gift of this book because silver is just so high right now. We have several Peace Dollars in this book. In 1922 Denver, 1924, and then on this last page here we have a 1934 S as well. And again, each of these is going to be $80 to $90, something like that, depending on silver spot. But very high dollar coin compared to a lot of the coins that we find cornrow hunting and things like that. Alright guys, so the next thing that I wanted to show you was all of the error coins that we got. Now I'm not going to show all of them because that will take a really long time, but I have them all laid out here, all the ones that we found in 2025. So I just thought I would kind of show you that, and we'll have some honorable mentions here. So I wanted to show you, we got, like, for example, we got this George Washington, and for these George Washington golden dollars, they should have text on the edge that tells you like the mint and the year that it was minted and things like that. But this one just doesn't have it. This is an error. I don't remember the name of this, but it just is missing that edge lettering there. So that's a pretty cool one. We also have for our dimes, we have this one is the only one that was kind of different than usual, but we found a grease strike error. So you can see it just has 200, and then whatever the 4th number was supposed to be is pretty much completely gone, or it's not legible for me to see. It might be, I don't know, if I had to take a guess, I'd say maybe a 7 or a 3, but I can't quite tell because it's been struck through grease. So basically a little bit of grease got stuck on the die when they struck this coin, and so the mark didn't come out correct. So that's another example. These here are all of our 1970s that have the reverse of the 1968 proof, so I'll show that. We have here, you can see in the flame, there's those lines in the flame. Those aren't supposed to be here on this year of the dime. So that's pretty cool. Very common errors. You can see we found a ton of them, so they're not going to be super valuable or anything. The majority of the errors that we found for quarters were things like die chip errors, so like these two are perfect examples. We have our George Washington wart on the nose. You can see that big old die chip on his nose. And then this one is an example of a drooling George there. You can see die chip kind of in his mouth there. Kind of looks like a little bit of drool. Another example of this is like our extra cactus error. So this one, if you don't know it, it's kind of hard to see. But right at the bottom here of this big cactus, it's supposed to have the maker's initials, which I believe is JFM. I can't quite remember. But there's a little die chip covering that up, so it's not there, and that's called the extra cactus error. All of these were in videos, so I'm not going to go through everything because it will take a really long time, like I said. But I just wanted to kind of lay it all out here. I'm going to do a ton of research, and I'll put in the number of what I think the estimated value for all of this is after adding up a bunch of eBay comps and things like that, and we'll add that to our total. Alright guys, there was one more error that I thought I would show you guys that I didn't find cornrow hunting or anything, so I'm not including it in values or anything, but I just thought it was really cool and I came across it like a week or two ago. But I got some foreign coin grab bags for Christmas that my mom got for me. And one of these was one of the coins was this Croatian coin, which is a 50 lipa coin, which I actually have some of these already, but this one has a die crack on it, so I thought I would try to show you here. If you look at the H there, it's right next to it, and it kind of cuts all through the leaf there. Super cool. I'm not going to throw it under the scope right now, but I just thought I would show you that because it's a pretty cool error, and I don't find errors on foreign coins very often. So I thought that I would share that with you. Alright guys, and that's a wrap on 2025 and everything that we found in 2025. What did you think? Did you expect me to find as much as I did? Did you expect me to find more? I feel like we did pretty well this year for the amount of boxes and things that we searched through. I feel like we did really well, and I'm interested to tally everything up because, of course, I haven't edited this video or done a lot of the research on the values and stuff, and so I'm interested to see. Of course, you guys can see already, but I'm interested to see how much the total estimate came out to, especially with silver reaching $100 today as of recording this clip at least, which is just crazy. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I know this is going to be a longer video, so if you've made it to the end, thank you very much. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any questions or anything, or recently I've had a couple of people reach out with coins that they need help identifying and things like that, so you can always reach out to me in the comments or shoot an email to me, and I'd love to take a look at your coins if you need help trying to identify certain things. Of course, I won't necessarily have all the answers, but I love looking at them, and I actively do stuff like that on the Numista forums and things like that, so I love doing it. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps me out and helps me to build my channel and get to a greater audience so more people can see these videos. If you haven't already, hit the bell as well, the notification bell, so that you get notified every time I release a video. I know if you don't have the bell hit, a lot of people will miss out on the shorts and stuff that I make, so make sure to hit that bell. But anyways, guys, I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.